Tuesday morning, April 10th, 1912. A port town on the southern coast of England stirs awake. Midway through its launch, the sky seemed tense as the RMS Titanic left port. Aboard were 2,200 people, hauling hopes, wealth, clues nobody asked for, moving toward America. Folks at home said it could not sink. Yet under polished railings and thick curtains, something else stirred. Smoke hiding below decks, quiet alarms ignored, decisions made without knowing how long their shadows would stretch. Just days before setting sail, down in the dark underbelly of the massive vessel, something unseen began. Inside Coal Bunker 5, heat built without warning, then caught flame on its own. The fire grew quiet, but fierce, lasting every single day of the journey ahead. Fire crept along metal sides, searing everything close to 1,000 degrees Celsius. Workers, bound by silence, rotated through grueling stints, hauling smoldering chunks into boilers, all to weaken the inferno yet keep power flowing to the engines. Heat built up below decks, Frederick Barrett said, so fierce it nearly overwhelmed him. That warmth gnawed at a quay wall just hours before meeting ice. At 11:40 p.m. on April 14, contact came. Not head-on, but a scrape against a frozen giant. Weakened metal gave way faster because of what had come before. Fire wasn't the only cause of ruin, yet it left cracks open where strength should have been. Before sails ever caught wind, flaws already ran deep. Over dinner, guests sipped champagne, cracked open oysters, lounged in luxury. Down by the Belfast wharves, whispers spread like damp through rope. Maybe this vessel wasn't the famous one after all. Perhaps it wore the name Titanic, but carried the bones of the Olympic instead. A scrape months before, hidden repairs, hushed voices. Swap the ships, file a claim, vanish the truth beneath new paint and grand stories. Some said it made sense. Others just watched the hull rise. Silent, huge, hard to believe. Floating around since the early 1900s, some folks claim White Star quietly switched the ship's names. After ramming into HMS Hawk, Olympic limped back with deep gashes, fixing her drained funds fast. Yet imagine, send down what looks like Titanic instead. Call it a tragic accident. Bank the payout. Older vessel on paper, fresh paint on hull. Nobody checks twice. Turns out, old records broke that idea apart. Pieces of the ship pulled up from the ocean floor show 401 stamped right on them. That was Titanic's mark, while Olympic wore 400. Then there's money. No insurer back then handed cash for fraud like sinking your own ship. Switching 2 giant liners, each longer than 3 football fields, without anyone noticing. Hard to swallow, even today. Still, people believe it, not due to facts, yet because it touches something real. Beneath the shine of wealth in those times, business power and personal drive regularly crashed, leaving sorrow in their wake. It was the 14th of April, 1912. The sea stretched flat under a moonless sky, without ripples slapping ice. Darkness hid what lay ahead. Lookouts Fleet and Lee strained their eyes into the void. Binoculars would have helped. Those were missing because a crew change in Southampton caused someone to forget the key. Silence made everything worse. Midnight neared when Fleet saw it, a shadow cutting through the dark. 3 sharp rings broke the quiet. Then he called out from his post. Right ahead, came the voice down the line. There's an iceberg. The shape loomed closer under a moonless sky. Murdoch yanked the wheel hard over while shouting to reverse the engines. Yet the Titanic carried too much weight, far too much speed. Along the right edge, ice scraped silently. Metal groaned as bolts snapped loose, gaps widening through 5 sealed sections. Engineers built her to stay up on 4. Now there were 5. Floor below, the glowing coals behind the wall lost strength quicker than the crew expected. Instead of a surge, water advanced, slow, quiet, impossible to stop. Mess broke loose near the boats, yet quiet heartbreak played out elsewhere. Some rich folks had pets up top, tiny dogs like Pomeranians, one Pekingese, even a French bulldog tagging along. Most never made it, left behind when things went bad. Just 3 got out, thanks to owners unwilling to let go. Wrapped in cloth, one little dog rode off tucked against Margaret Hayes in Boat 7, close to her chest. Another survived through Elizabeth Rothschild stepping quietly into Boat 6. Fate did not spare the creatures laboring below decks. Starved of air, every rat hiding in cargo spaces died. Same as the canaries kept near engines to warn crews of poison fumes. Left out of nearly all retellings, their ends nudge memory. That ship carried more than people. A whole web of living things floated there, each one tossed by waters without favor. When the ship tilted, 8 players met on the open deck. Violinist Wallace Hartley led them through lively tunes at first, followed by quiet hymns meant to steady nerves. Some say the last piece was Nearer, My God, to Thee. Though accounts differ, others mention Autumn, or its French version, Songe d'automne. One thing stands clear. Their music continued right up to the final moments. Weeks passed before Hartley's body turned up, the violin fixed to him inside its oilskin cover. Though soaked through, the instrument survived whole, soon seen as proof of resolve. By 2015, following years tucked away out of sight, experts verified its origin. Then, it changed owners at sale for $1.7 million. Testing revealed details about the timber. Beyond doubt, that fiddle played while everything fell apart. Survival clung to J. Bruce Ismay, head of White Star Line. Down went the ship's nose, tilting into dark water, just as he climbed into collapsible sea, among the final boats lowered. Life stayed with him after that choice, yet memory did not forgive. The world kept watching long after the ocean took the rest. Folks called him a coward in print. Sketches showed him running off as families went under. Even though investigators said he broke no laws, people acted like he did. Public judgment pushed him away, regardless of facts. He left the shipping company, moved back to land he owned in Ireland, then stayed out of sight until death came 25 winters later. Quietly stepping back, he seldom spoke to reporters nor ever stood up for himself where people could see. His absence turned him into a shadow he had shaped alone. Someone who lived through the wreckage yet vanished inside what came after. Just after 2:20 in the morning on April 15th, the Titanic split apart before vanishing beneath the ocean. Silence followed. From their boats, survivors caught echoes of people screaming out across the dark. The noise stuck in memory, like a scar. By 4 o'clock, when the Carpathia reached the scene, 705 were pulled from the cold. More than 1,500 did not make it through the night. Yet the tale stretched beyond salvation. Years passed. Then fresh truths slipped into view. How burning coal may have weakened the hull. How frost alerts from nearby vessels were set aside. How first-class tickets meant safer passage while others waited. How those who lived bore silent wounds long after. How rusting metal on the ocean floor slowly vanishes, eaten grain by grain from within. What sinks beneath the surface matters most. A vessel broken on the ocean floor becomes something else entirely. Less wreckage, more echo. Faith in machines shows itself strongest just before they fail. Warnings arrive early, yet people choose not to hear them. Bravery appears where fear runs deep, but so does shrinking back. Hidden truth rarely means secret plots. It lives instead in small moments passed over by reports and records. One man shoveled coal while flames crept behind walls. Another bundled a pet in cloth, hoping someone might care later. Music rose into cold air as constellations turned above frozen waves. And far away, an officer sat awake years after, carrying choices made at sea. What stays isn't the myth of being unsinkable. What remains is how deeply it reflects us. Crafted by workers prone to mistakes, led by captains capable of wrong choices, carrying people full of hope, affection, fear, much like now. Maybe that's the reason. Over 100 years on, her call through the mist stays in our ears.